Well, you're going to just look at those? The U.S. in many ways would be unrecognizable to our generation today. In the late 30s, before the war, our grandparents lived in a time before there was radar, credit cards, split atoms, laser beams, and ballpoint pens. Before clothes dryers, electric blankets, air conditioning, drip-dry clothes, and before man walked on the moon. They lived before gay rights, computer dating, dual careers, and computer messages. They never heard of FM radio, tape decks, electric typewriters, artificial hearts, word processors, yogurt, TV, and guys wearing earrings. A chip meant a piece of wood. Hardware meant hardware. And software wasn't even a word. In 1940, made in Japan meant junk. Pizzas, McDonald's, and instant coffee were unheard of. Coke was a cold drink, and pot was something you cooked in. Rock music was a grandma's lullaby, and aides were helpers in the principal's office. A new house cost $3,849. The annual income was only $1,728.99. A new Ford cost $700, and a gallon of gas was 10 cents. The president was Franklin D. Roosevelt. In the sports world, the Yankees took the Reds in the World Series. The NFL champions were the Green Bay Packers. The famous song was Over the Rainbow, and the favorite movie was Gone with the Wind. The Dow Jones Index was 142.69. Those were the good old days that people still living talk about today. Then World War II occurred. World War II was one of the greatest struggles mankind has ever seen. It caused major changes and developments in every country. There were over 1,200,000 casualties in the U.S. alone. My grandpa was one of the lucky ones. He was a survivor. Now let's talk with an officer that served in World War II, my grandpa Allison. What was the feeling of our country before we entered the war?
Well, at that time, America was partial toward the Allies. We had already loaned England what we call our Liberty ships, and we certainly were against Nazism. But the blow came from Japan, and I don't think a lot of people expected it to come from that direction. But we certainly were with the Allies at that time.
Grandpa, why did the U.S. get involved in the war?
Well, we got involved in the war because we were attacked at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, and we certainly had to declare war on Japan at that time, which we did.
Did any of your friends die in the war?
Yes. Stop it, oh, geez. You missed it. Yes, Pete. One of my very close friends died when we enlisted. We went into different branches of service. I went into the Air Force, and this particular person, Everett Larson, went into the Marines. And unfortunately, he died in Guadalcanal.
What did you and your friends do when we entered the war?
Well, the first thing we did, we talked about enlisting. And we waited for the Christmas holiday. Of course, the war started and was declared December 7th. After the holidays, in January, we all went down and enlisted.
What were you doing, and where were you when the war started?
Well, when the war started, it just so happened I was at my girlfriend's house waiting to have dinner. But by the way, that girlfriend was your grandmother. And the announcement came over the radio. Franklin Delano Roosevelt made the announcement. And it stunned us all. Not only the fact that we were in the war, but from the direction in which it came.
What was your role in the war?
My role in the war was was more or less twofold. One, initially I was in the weather service of the airport, and then when I received my commission, I was transferred to Randolph Field, and was actively participating in training young men to become fighter pilots at the Moorfield in Texas. And then from there I went over to China and spent some time there before returning to the United States.
Did the economy of the U.S. suffer during the war?
Well, during the war, of course, we were producing at capacity, so everybody had work. But this costed the government money. And we certainly, we as a government, we went into debt to finance the war. As far as people having jobs and being able to buy things, so what was available, of course, a lot of things were there. The economy was good in that respect, but it was bad in the fact that we were going to have to pay for it later because we incurred an enormous debt.
What part of the war stands out in your mind?
Well, I would imagine my trip, my service with the Air Force involved a lot of flying. And when I went over to China, I went by the way of Africa and India. But the thing that sticks in my mind the most is probably flying over the hump into China and over the Himalayan mountains. And in those days, of course, we had propeller planes, prop planes as we call them. We didn't have jet planes. And this meant that we had to fly with relatively a low altitude compared to what we fly today. So you're flying through the mountains and looking up at the peaks, and then looking down at the Chinese gardens below, and all the terraced rice paddies in the fields below. It was a very majestic view, and it sticks very, very well in my mind now in recollecting it.
How did your family react when you went to war?
Well, like most families in those days, they're all proud to see their sons go into the service and serve their country. There's a lot of sadness, of course, in knowing that you're going to be subject to possibly being injured or killed. But at the same time, the attitude in those days was that everybody was proud that their sons could serve their country. And that was the general attitude.
About how many casualties were there after the war was over?
Well, during the war, as I understand it, there was over 1 million casualties, 1.2 million, whatever it is. The number killed, of course, wasn't as great as in our Civil War, because there on both sides were our own people. But next to the Civil War, they had the greatest number of people killed.
What was one of the first things you did after the war was over?
Well, I went back to Texas, and then I was reported back to Ellington Field near Houston, and then was sent up to New York to be discharged. One of the first things I did was enlist in the reserves, and I stayed in the reserves for another 14 years, and to get to 20 years in the service. And then I went back to the company I left when I went into the war, Communist Publications.
Were you injured in any way during the war?
No, I was very fortunate. I spent quite a bit of time in China, but we were never directly attacked.
Thank you, Grandpa Austin.
You're welcome.